Welcome to a new episode of Darnell's Chumpy Wisconsin Sports Show. That was Willie Adamas hitting an absolute blast of a two-run shot a couple days ago against the Blue Jays at Miller Park off the scoreboard. I know BA did not mention that in his announcing, but that went off the scoreboard at Miller Park. Just absolutely smoked that ball. Again, this is Darnell's Chumpy Wisconsin Sports Show. I am your host, Darnell the Chump, and I wanted to welcome any new viewers that are viewing this on YouTube. Woohoo! We're doing YouTube now. This is the inaugural episode for that. So you can probably see the background. I'm looking into the camera here for the first time ever, and yeah, this is the setup. This is what we're going to be doing, I guess, from now on. So you can still listen to it on Spotify. You can still listen to it on Amazon Music and all that other crap that I have. But you can watch or listen, or watch and listen on YouTube if you want to. So we've also got we got a different segment that we're going to try out here. My social media manager is my sister. She's got some ideas for the show. So that's what I'm going to be kind of working on here the next couple of weeks. I did not have a show on Wednesday, and I'll get into that why I didn't. We're actually recording it here on a Saturday, and I'll get into that in a second. The Brewers won their last two series here. They lost last night on Friday night in kind of an annoying manner, as they tend to do. The NBA finals are boring as living crap right now. The NHL playoffs are equally boring. 3-0 series in both of those. Blech. Get that off my TV screens. It's terrible. It's terrible. And other than that, we just got baseball going on. We got football starting up here in a couple of weeks. Actually, training camps will be getting underway, and then all of a sudden it's going to be September, and it's going to be football season to the max, and we're going to not care about baseball, we're going to not care about basketball, we're going to not care about hockey, we're not going to care about anything except football, because that's just football runs Wisconsin, runs the United States. So yeah, without further ado, I'll go ahead and get started with why I did not upload an episode on Wednesday. So the last couple of weeks, well, I guess not the last couple of weeks, but the last couple of days, I've had some car issues. I had a starting issue earlier, a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh, I got this fixed, nice and easy, no issue. And then all of a sudden on Tuesday, I couldn't get home from work, which is an issue when you like to come home from work. So we fixed up the battery, we got it jumped, we got home, everything was right in the world, and then I drove to work the next day. That was Wednesday morning, and started the car randomly in the middle of the day, just because I was like, I got to make sure this is working, and it started up perfectly. And then I tried to start at the end of the day to go home, and it would not start. So we got it towed over to Firestone, and then they proceeded to do their hack job on me and just charged me $1 million for what is a starting issue. And we got it all fixed, and we are good to go, and now I can proceed to sell my car and only make X amount of money, because I spent a bunch of money on it just to get it to run. So that was my week. On top of that, I had a couple of work presentations. I did a Men in Black skit, and I watched the Brewers, I watched the finals, and I watched the NHL Stanley Cup Finals. My father-in-law was in town this week. I went to a funeral last weekend. I went to a wedding the weekend before. It's just been kind of crazy. So I apologize to my loyal 6 fans that did not get to experience Darnell's Chumpy Wisconsin Sports Show this past week. We're going to do 2 episodes here in the next 3 days, so that we can kind of get back up to speed here. So let's go ahead and talk here. The Milwaukee Brewers over the past week right? I've been doing kind of like a how have you treated me lately? Well, they're 7-3. Well, now they're 6-4 as of last night, but they were 7-3 if I were doing this on Thursday. In their last 10, now 6-4 in their last 10, and they hold a 6.5 game lead in the Central, which is like really nice, right? When we talked last, they had like a 3.5 game lead, and I was a little bit frustrated because I was expecting them to have a bigger lead based on how bad the Central's been thus far in the season and how good it seemed like the Brewers have been doing, but not maybe not in reality, but as a fan of the Brewers, you're like, oh, they're doing really well, or oh, they're really not doing well. And I felt like the way they played this year didn't translate to the lead that they had in the Central. And that lead has expanded a little bit as the Central has continued to dive bomb and the Brewers have continued to be mediocre-ish, which means that they're building a lead, which is good. But also, I'd like that lead to be a little bit bigger, especially as we kind of get closer to the All Star break here in about a month, and then beyond that, once you get into the later stages of the season, August, September, those types of things, you're going to want to have a nice 7 to 10 to who knows, maybe even a bigger lead than that going into September because anything can happen in September. We don't have Craig Counsell anymore. We can't do Craig Timber anymore, which, by the way, screw that guy. Oh my gosh, it's so fun watching the Cubs just suck. They just suck, and Craig Counsell's a big part of that, pulling his starters and doing stuff with that bullpen, and then it just falls apart. That's great. I love when that happens, and it couldn't happen to a worse guy in Craig Counsell. So um, that's been great. On to the not great stuff, which is William Contreras has dropped his average from about 330 3 weeks ago to about 302 right now, which is still fantastic. Don't get me wrong. He's still going to be an all-star starter, and if he's not, we riot. But the guy, I feel like he's kind of prided himself on playing every day and not missing any games and always catching, not doing a whole lot of DHing, and I I think that we need to give him a little bit of a break. Like I don't like taking him out of the lineup because he's been so good, but I think we need to give him those breaks because he plays such a demanding position at catcher. Like he gets battered back there, so giving him a day off every couple of weeks is probably not a bad idea. As if you're in the Brewers organization here, keeping him as fresh as you possibly can because as we've kind of seen in the last couple of weeks, he's faltered a little bit. He like last night, he struck out twice with runners in scoring position down by 2. Can't do that. You can't do that multiple times in a game. Now he also had a home run last night, so I can't be too mad at him. But we had an opportunity to steal one from uh, like the the abyss, right? Where we were down by 4 runs in the 7th inning. We were down by 3 in the ninth. We had a chance to take one that we definitely had no business winning, and we couldn't do it because we were striking out with runners in scoring position, which is something they've been doing a lot of this year, especially bases loaded. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that split because they're a good team. They're kind of in the top 5 or the top 8 in the MLB when it comes to batting with runners in scoring position this year. But if you load the bases as the Brewers, they are like bottom of the league in loaded bases, runners in scoring position, batting average. Uh, they don't do well. A couple of times in the last week, they've had bases loaded, nobody out, and they haven't scored. That's embarrassing. Part of that comes down to the people at the plate, right? Like Oliver Dunn should not be at the plate with the bases loaded, nobody out, much less 1 or 2 outs, right? And in Murph we trust, right? Pat Murphy's been doing a great job, but I, I guess I don't understand the usage of like Owen Miller or Oliver Dunn in big situations. I also don't like the use of our lower leverage relievers in big situations and then our higher leverage relievers in not that big of a situation. Like you're down by 6, why are you using Trevor McGill? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But then again, I'm not the manager, so I'm not gonna have too much of like an opinion on these specific little coaching things because I wouldn't be able to give you the best reasons why I I would do it this way versus the way Pat Murphy's doing it because obviously he's doing a good job if they are 11 games above 500 and they have a 7 game series or 7 game lead in the NL Central. So, um, it's been good for the Brewers. It hasn't been anything too crazy, but then again, we're still in June. You know, they still have a chance to kind of get their footing a little bit more. They have a chance to figure things out as a team a little bit more, and they have a chance to really build a lead here against the Reds in this series. If they can take the next 2 out of 3, or I guess the next two, since they already lost the inaugural game here. But yeah, it's been okay. We're not too mad at the way the Brewers have played thus far, and really the last month has been tough for them, but not as tough as the Cubs, who are like 12 of their last 30. That's awful. Again, Craig Counsell, screw you. We don't like you at all here in Wisconsin, and enjoy your crappy Cubs team and your crappy head coaching gig down there with your $8 million a year. You loser, Judas. Judas. Um, but yeah, we can switch on over to the two championship series that are going on. Um, I did not pick any of them correctly. I did not. I picked everything wrong. I did think the Celtics were going to be in the finals. I did not think that the Mavs were going to be in the finals. I thought that might be the T Wolves. They did not make it, obviously. So now we've got Mavs and Celtics NBA. It's been a bleep show, to say the least, thus far. Right now, the Mavs are down 1-3 in the series. They stole one last night in Game 4. Um, it's been ugly. None of these games make you feel like the Mavs have any shot at winning this whole thing. And I picked them in 6. I picked him in 6. And Luke has been garbage. Now, Jason Tatum has also been garbage, but Luke has been garbage. And I don't like Jason Tatum, as we talked about with Matthew from Florida last week, week and a half ago. My time's all mixed up now, but Jason Tatum, gross. He's going to win Finals MVP, and it's going to be the most nasty. It's going to be worse than Nikola Jokic's last MVP. Like, that's going to be how bad things are in the state of the NBA. No one's watching this. People are more concerned with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese in the WNBA right now than the actual NBA Finals. Like, this is getting a little bit ridiculous, guys. Like, it just is. I don't want to sound the alarm here, but no one cares about the NBA right now because it's so boring isn't the right word. It's so unappealing to the average fan. Like, I'm sure that Celtics fans are just like, wahoo. And it's nice to see like Drew Holiday do good things again. And it's even kind of nice to see Luka Doncic suck in a series because I know that he is. And when I say suck, I mean defensively, right? Offense, he's been great, no doubt, no doubt. But you got to play both ends of the court if you want to win a championship, as Giannis has showed, as Nikola Jokic has showed in the last year, and had LeBron showed. You know, I guess you have to go back pretty far to see the other ones, but like Kawhi Leonard played great defense for the Raptors when he won in 2019. So you gotta be able to play both sides of the court, and Luka Doncic does not do that. So I guess it would be really nice. It's nice to see that get exposed, I guess, because people are putting Luka a little bit too high on the list, I think. Um, but like I said, Jason Tatum's gonna end up winning the Finals MVP here, and it's gonna be really annoying because this is just it's a joke of a series. I'm not enjoying watching because it feels like it's already a foregone conclusion. Um, and then that's pretty much pretty much it. Kyrie Irving has been non-existent, which sucks because I like actually watching Kyrie Irving play basketball, but he's been his shot is ugly right now. He can't make open shots, and all his shot creation is it it's a very inefficient form of basketball, and it's been really obvious in what he's doing. So yeah, that's the NBA. I don't have much else to say about that because it's been frustrating to watch, and equally frustrating, but nice. Or I guess so. Not frustrating, but unless you're a major Edmonton Oilers fan because they are now down 3-0 and they have another game tonight to avoid being swept. This has actually been a really fun series to watch. Um, Now, I'm sure the NHL is pissed off that it's 3-0 right now because they're not going to get full 7-game series or they're not going to get that parity that they're looking for. But it's actually been a really fun game, like really fun games to watch. Last week, they had game 1. We watched in Chicago. Um, Sergei Bobrovsky is fantastic in the goal as a goalkeeper, goaltender, whatever he is, the goalie, right? He's been insane. He's made some insane saves. He has stopped breakaways. He's stopped power play chances. He's stopped everything that has come through um, en route to a 3-0 lead here in this series. And he's only given up 3 goals or 4 goals total. So yeah, the guy's been insane. He's the number one reason why they are on the cusp of another Stanley Cup here. And on top of that, the Panthers also have other guys. They've got Kachuk, right? Who a lot of the people I know think that he's kind of a tool, but I don't know much about him, so I'm gonna kind of reserve judgment on that. Um, I'm probably rooting for the Panthers just because my homie lives out there in Florida, and Florida never wins anything. Just kidding. They win a lot of stuff, and it's really annoying. But also, it's Canada. I don't want Edmonton from Canada to win things because Canada sucks. Sorry. I know this is like a kids show kind of, but like Canada sucks, man. Socialism sucks. Canada sucks. All that stuff sucks. So, uh, yeah, Edmonton, you're gonna lose. It's just how it is. You might steal one tonight and make it a 5-game series loss. You're gonna get gentlemen swept here, but get to 6, then I might start talking about you guys on Wednesday again next week. But I doubt that's gonna happen. I don't even think you're gonna get past 4 here. I really don't. I think that Bobrovsky is just too good for you, and your stars have not shown up. Connor McDavid, McJesus, he hasn't showed up this year, or at least in this series, and Draisaitl has not shown up either. And you've had some injuries, but then again, so has everybody. Let's not make excuses. You guys just haven't played good enough to prove it. You haven't. So um, that is what I'm talking about with that hockey. I talked some hockey here. The Stanley Cup stuff. It's been fun to watch, but it's just I think the issue is it's going to be short lived because it's going to be a quick 4 or 5 game series, and then we're done, and then we're done, and then it's like looking ahead to football in a month. A month. We are a month away from football, which is nice, but also are we ready for that? Are we ready for football? Because then that means that school's starting up again, and that means that the summer's over and all that. We're just starting off here. It's just I don't know. I'm good with baseball for now. I enjoy baseball enough that that we're good um, until football season's like officially like gets going, and we get to watch the Packers in Brazil which they're not allowed to wear green or something, and that's going to be kind of wild considering it's two green teams. It's the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Green Bay Packers, and none of them can wear green. I don't I don't know how that's going to work. Are they going to wear their old Acme blue and yellow Packers jerseys? Like what's the idea here? NFL, any comment on that? Also, they're going to be driven around in armored trucks because the gangs in Brazil are so bad. Maybe we shouldn't be playing a game there. That's just a thought. Like maybe we shouldn't be in Brazil. Like, what's next? Are we gonna play a game in Syria? We're gonna go over to Palestine and play some football. Play one in North Korea. Like, seriously, what's the idea here? I get that we're trying to be like a global sport and everything, and we're trying to have that like global appeal, like soccer kind of does in the whole world, the whole globe. But let's start with like let's keep the Germany and the England stuff instead of Mexico, Brazil, and Iraq. Like I don't understand that. But then again, I'm not paid to make those decisions. I just consume them. So um, I do have a couple of new things to talk about. I will talk about YouTube here a little bit, and kind of how that's all going to work. I'm recording this both on my audio recording stuff and taking a video of it with my webcam, and I don't know how all that works, so it might be ugly the first couple of episodes. Like nothing's going to change on Spotify, so if you listen on there, great, whatever, I don't care. I do care. I don't care where you listen. I care that you listen. So I do care, but the YouTube might be a little bit wonky, and I guess I'll just go ahead and get started with Darnell's Dairyland Cower rankings. So it's a play on cow and like power rankings, but instead, because we're America's Dairyland, it's cow. Like, oh, over here. It's gonna be on this side. So Darnell's Darnell's Dairyland Cower rankings, which is just a little segment where I'm gonna take my 5 favorites of some random Wisconsin commodity, and this week we're going to do the top 5 Wisconsin cities, in my opinion. Now, I do need to throw a little disclaimer out there. These are my opinions and my favorites, and you are welcome to disagree with them if you want to, because it's a free country and this is a free podcast to listen to. I just ask that if you're listening on YouTube and you have differing opinions, let me know them in the comments. Seriously, like if you, and I'll have a little poll in Spotify as well. So let me know. Let me know where I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm not wrong, but let me know if you think I'm wrong, right? Because everyone's entitled to their own opinion. So we'll start with number 5 on my list. 5 best. So number 5 is going to be Port Washington. It's just it's a nice little town on Lake Michigan, maybe about 30, 40 miles north of Milwaukee. Not a lot of crime. I went there with my wife a couple years ago. We just kind of walked the lakefront. It was beautiful. There's some cliffs. There's some lighthouses. You can go swimming if it's nice enough. We did not, but you can. There's great bike trails kind of like right along the lake, and the hiking was great, and the people, and there was a really nice steakhouse. I can't remember what it was, but it was great food. So Port Washington at number 5. Number 4 on my list is Wisconsin Dells. Now this might be ranked lower than some people, especially the out-of-towners might have Wisconsin Dells a little bit higher because it's the water park capital of the world. But if you're in Wisconsin, if you're from Wisconsin, you know that Wisconsin Dells can be kind of a little bit of a crapshoot. Like, the Kalahari's great, right? Until you find Band-Aids and
puke in your wave pool, right? So that Wisconsin Dells actually has a lot of great parts of it. Like the golfing there is great. Um, if you go to the right places, the right hotels are great. Like I prefer the Wilderness at Wisconsin Dells as opposed to like Great Wolf Lodge sucks and the Kalahari sucks. But yeah, so if you're going to Wilderness, that's great. They have some great food, great dining. The downtown area in Wisconsin Dells is great. So maybe like the non-tourist parts of Wisconsin Dells I like more than random Illinois dude coming up to Wisconsin Dells and hanging out. So number 4 is the Dells. Number 3 I have Green Bay. Um, no trip to Wisconsin is complete without a trip up to Lambeau Field in Titletown. So um, for that reason and that reason only, you got to put Green Bay on this list. They got the Packers. They've got Door County right next to it. It's just like it's a great location. The people up there are hearty and great, and not like um, other other spots in Wisconsin where maybe the people aren't as nice and inviting, or they're maybe a little bit more crazy about things. Green Bay, so that's what they are. They got the Packers. That automatically gets them to number 3 on my list. Number 2 is Minocqua. At least in my opinion, I put Minocqua on there. The land of lakes up there. They've got something like 500 lakes within like 50 miles of it or something like that. So I've been up there a couple times. I went up there for a hockey tournament earlier in the year. I'm going up there again in a couple weeks to just kind of hang out with my family up there, and it's a beautiful spot. It's a beautiful spot in the summer. It's a beautiful spot in the winter, and it's also a great. It's kind of a touristy place, but it's got the Thirsty Whale, which is a great bar right on the lake. And the downtown shopping, at least my wife tells me the downtown shopping is fantastic. So that is number 2 on the list. Number 1 is my hometown, which is Madison, Wisconsin. Um, it's got the university, right? It's got school. It's got the downtown. It's got State Street. It's got a ton of liberals. Yikes. It's got that's not a good. That's the not so great part about it, but that's okay. It's got a soccer team. It's got all the college sports. It's got the Badgers, right? And then on top of that, it's got 4 or 5 lakes that are maybe not lakes you want to go into, but they're beautiful lakes to look at. So we've got our state capital on an isthmus between the lakes. It's great. It's a great city. It's a great place to grow up, and it just happens to be my favorite place in Wisconsin as well. As far as a city, and I'll go into where my actual favorite place is, but it's not a city. So that's my list of cities. Number 5, Port Washington. Number 4, Wisconsin Dells. Number 3, Green Bay. Number 2, Minocqua. And number 1, the city of Madison. So, you agree with that? No? You have your favorites? Great. Those are just my favorite off the top of my head. Honorable mentions, the city of Eau Claire. I actually like Eau Claire. The city of Superior, because you're right on the greatest lake in the world, Lake Superior, Lake Gitchigumi. So, yeah, that's those are my top cities in Wisconsin, and that was Darnell's Dairyland Cower rankings. Cow, Cower. So yeah, we'll go ahead and just kind of transition here over. This isn't going to be quite as long of an episode today, but that's okay. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming here next Wednesday. So I'm going to finish off with just a little monologue about the Wisconsin Badgers. So they just recently got a 3-star the football team, because football's coming up, and that's important, right? So they have the new coach, Luke Fickell, who took over last year and then had not a great inaugural season, not the best inaugural season. So that was that. And then, from there, I think a lot of Badger fans were a little scared because they were expecting national championships right off the bat. And that's not what happened. In fact, it was one of the worst seasons the Badgers have had in recent memory. So, um, where do we go from here? Well, he brought in a bunch of transfers. Um, his 2025 class is in the top 5 in the country. So that's next year's high school seniors. Now, obviously, this is all weird with the transfer portal and NIL and all of that, but um, they have a insanely hard schedule this year. That if they can master that schedule, if they end up with 9 or 10 wins on this schedule, they're setting themselves up for a huge 2025 season. It's 2024 this year. The 2025 season could be huge. With the guys that they got a 4-star and a 3-star guy that just committed this past couple of days, and I'm excited. I'm excited every year because I'm just a Badger through and through. But this is giving me vibes that I don't think I've had in a while. So I'm really looking forward to that. And Luke Fickle needs to keep up the hard work that he's been doing on the recruiting trail. So they also hired a recruiting guy. So woohoo! They hired a recruiting guy finally for the first time in like 5 years, which is great. Other than that, I don't really have anything else to say today. Go give her a like, give it a like on YouTube or take a look. You get to see my beautiful face, my beautiful mug, and then yeah, it'll be on YouTube and Spotify, and I don't know if it's on Pandora. Do people still listen to Pandora? I don't think people still listen to Pandora these days, but it's on iTunes. It's on like Apple Music. I think those are the same thing though. It's on iHeart. That's one thing it's on. We found that out on a little road trip. But yeah, go check it out. Leave a comment or whatever you want. I bet you don't agree with my 5 cities. There you go. Let me know. Otherwise, you can reach out to me on Twitter at Scary Russian Spy. It's my handle there for Darnell the Chump. And yeah, go Packers, go Badgers, go Bucks, go Brewers. Primarily go Brewers right now. And go Panthers. Let's finish this off. The Oilers suck. And I actually kind of want to see McDavid cry. So, all right. Peace.